In this video we are going to see how to upload attachment to Salesforce using enterprise jar, which is created from Salesforce WSDL, enterprise WSDL. And also I will demonstrate how to use REST API to connect to Salesforce and to upload the attachment. So going to the next slide, I have opened workbench.developerforce.com, and from insert I have moved into this window where object type I have selected attachment and set a single record and click on next. So here I will get one clear idea what are the required fields value we are required to insert any record in. So I can see that there is body, name and parent ID are the required fields where we need to put the values here. So for body there is type is base 64 and name is string 255 and this is parent ID. That means this is the, for example, this is record and this is the ID of the record, and for this record I want to add the attachment, so I need to put the parent ID as this value. So going with this section, I have created one attachment captivate.log, and there is some content in this attachment. So I want to upload this attachment to Salesforce and attach to this record. So what I have to do, I have created one code here, and this is for using Java, using enterprise.jar, which is created from enterprise WSDL, which you can obtain from develop and click on API and click on enterprise WSDL. There is one video available in our channel which will create the enterprise jar, metadata jar and partner jar using some process using Java tool.jar. So using that you can create the WSDL jar, enterprise.jar, and you can connect to made the connection to Salesforce, and you can perform different query, SQL query and everything, insert, update, delete, DML operation, everything. So I have created one Java program which will upload the attachment, this attachment to the Salesforce, and it will attach with this record. So I have added parent ID as this record into this here the parent ID, and have provided the path location, and I'm running this application, and we can see that there will be attachment uploaded for this. So it's running here. If I go to the console, I'll be able to see they're still running. So successfully attached. So if I refresh this page, I'll be able to see that attachment has been added here. So you can see with the same title and everything. If you click on view, and we can see the content as well, and if you want to download it, we can download it also. So just click on this and view files, and you can save it as it is text file, so it will be text, type as text. So this is how we can create the we can upload the attachment using simple WSDL connection. So I'll explain how we have accomplished this, and also there is REST API functionality which will also upload the attachment. There is huge number of codes here. I'll not write all the codes, I'll just explain step by step so that you will have a very clear understanding on this. So I'm going to delete this attachment and I'll run using the REST API functionality, so you can have a clear understanding as well. So I have provided the parent ID as the same record as well, and also I have provided the path location here. So if I run this program, I'll be able to see that using REST API functionality how the attachment is uploaded. So here is, so attachment has been uploaded here, and also have provided the ID. So you can see that if I refresh this page, the attachment will be available here. So and if you click on this view, and you will be able to see the attachment. So next slide I'm going to explain how we have done it. So first I'm going to explain how to upload the attachment using the simple Java program. So let's take a look here. So this one, so first of all you go to this project and create one project and create two Java file here. So I have created one Java file, one is Java SFDC attachment. So you will see how to import the attachment using simple WSC service call, and also using the enterprise.jar. So I need to include some jar files here. So go to build path, configure path, and add external jars. So you can see that here I have one reference library where I have obtained WSC.34 and one enterprise jar. So these two jar files, WSC jar, it is download link available into the description of this video, and enterprise jar, how to create enterprise.jar, that link is also available into the description of this video. So you can easily obtain all the information, all the required files, everything from the description of this video. So just select these two files here and click on OK. So you can see I have included two jar files into this project. Now I am going to add some code here, and you can see it has imported already a connector config. Now I need to add some configuration parameters into this config. So this is the configuration: authentication endpoint, login, Salesforce service, swap, and this should be the C, as we are using enterprise.jar for the attachment import. For partner it should be U and the version name. So next line you need to include the username and password. Here the username and password, and one enterprise connection I will be creating with this config file, this configuration. So this is enterprise connection, and I need to use the throw declaration here, the connection exception. If any exception occurs, it will throw the connection expression with all the errors and details. Let's check. So let's check if this connection has been created successfully or not. By running this, I want to get the organization ID, and I will verify with this organization ID here for this developer org which I am working on. So here is the Salesforce organization ID. So I need to check with this code if it is working correctly. So I run this code here, run as Java application, and click on OK, and I'm checking with the console here. So if I take a look, this is the user info, this is the organization code, which is exactly matching with this organization ID, as this is 18-digit code which has been retrieved, and this is 15-digit code. So here it is working perfectly. So I need to get back into the code here. So if we take a look, if we want to add some function, so I need to perform some modification here, that sysout connection successful, and then I will be working on the attachment upload. So first of all, I am going to create one file here, file if is equal to new file, and this is the location of the file which I am going to upload into the Salesforce at the attachment of any record. So it has been imported Java IO file here automatically, and then I am going to add one input stream is is equal to new input stream with file as if, and we don't have to use all these override anything, just use if and perform this. So sorry, it would be file input stream. So and import file input stream, and I need to add the throw declaration. So it is now input stream is. Now I need to read into the as a byte, so I am going to read as a byte array. So byte and input buffer and new byte, and this is casting int f dot length. So whatever input I'm just initializing here, the variable byte and new byte, int size of this dynamic size. So it has been now fixed size, so it will have the byte length of the file. Now I will input stream, I'll assign into input stream. So read, and this is in this file in buff. So it will read the file at throw declaration, so IO exception. So if the file, it will throw the exception here. So the file has been read and stored into this input buffer. So next line will be creating one attachment object, which is Salesforce schema object type, obtained from enterprise .jar. So in attach, we are going to set some parameters here. So there are number of parameters here. So first set name. What would be the name? So name I have provided as this file name, and then we need to attach the body dot set body. So it has to be in byte, so this one. So I am setting up the body here, and then set the is private is equal to false, so that it can be externally available. And the last one is I need to set the parent ID, attachment dot set parent ID, so that we can have the record details. So I am going to add the record ID in as the parent ID, so it would be attached into that parent, into that record as the attachment. So I have created the attachment object with all the parameters details as set. Now I am going to create one saved result, which will store the result of the connection. So I'm going to create one connection with the S object as attachment, this one, and it's the first one. So I have only one attachment is being uploaded, so I am attaching one. I am taking the first of this array. So S object attach. So using this, it will store the result. So connection, creating connection, this connection, and we are going to run this create method. So it will create one record here with all the details of attachment type, this one. And if we run this program, it will create the attachment, but still we need to store some details. So I need to check if sr dot is success, that means if returns true, then it will print successfully added the, else it will say error adding attachment, what is the error details. So this is how we can successfully attach the attachment. So I'm going to do some formatting here so that you can see the code very clearly, source and format. So you can see that I'm going to run this program. Let's see what happens. So in console I am running this. So connection successful and successfully added the attachment. So I'm going to refresh this page and let's see if the attachment is up. So it has been attached with all the details, and if we click on view, we can see that attachment has been uploaded. So this is how we can, very simple program, we can upload the attachment into the Salesforce by creating some connection, defining the attachment body, and checking the result. So if you want to add the multiple attachment, you can create one for loop You can set the file location dynamic, and every maximum variation is possible. So this is simple process. You just have to run this process and you can upload the attachment easily. In next slide, I'm going to discuss how to use the REST API connection to upload the attachment, as explained in the beginning of this video. So now I am going to use the REST API to upload the attachment to Salesforce. So how am I going to do that? I need to use JSON and Apache HTTP client for that. So here is the download link to download Apache HTTP client. So click the zip file and unzip the file and get all the jars, and here is the link for JSON in Java. So download this jar and use this. Use this one, so it would be compatible with the JRE 7. So just click on this link and click on download. It will be downloaded, and include this into your project. So just right click and build path, configuration path, and click on add external jars. Here is, I have kept this one. So these are enterprise and WSC, and this is the JSON one. So JSON one has been included, and the rest one is Apache HTTP client one. So I'm selecting all, so it will not be a problem. So just remove the duplicate one which was previously added. So all the jars has been added here. Click on OK. Now I need to declare some variables. So it's username and password for Salesforce org, and this is the login URL for the Salesforce org. If you are using Sandbox, use the test.salesforce.com. And now watch carefully what are the other other variables I am using to declare my useful parameters. So this is the grant service, which will help to authenticate to Salesforce using the password. And next one, client ID and client secret. This one you will be obtained from here. You need to create one application, so that when you are logging from using the REST API, you will allow Salesforce to understand which application you are using to log in. So this is just connected app. Click on new and create this. If you click on new, you will be asked to provide some information. So what are the information you will have to give? These are the information: connected app name and API name, which will be automatically obtained, and contact email. And here is the authentication type, enable authentication settings, and this is the callback URL, and provide the full access, which I have created here. You can take a look onto that. What are the parameters I have provided, what are the values I have provided for these fields. So these are the connected app name and API name, and this is the contact email, and this is the callback URL. You will be able to see into the description. I will send post there, and provide full access, and nothing else you will have to provide. Once you create this app, you will be able to see what is the consumer key and what is the consumer secret. If you click on this, you will be provided the consumer secrets, which you will have to provide here. So this is the client ID, this one consumer key, and the consumer secret, this is client secret, you will have to provide here. So you can easily provide you can easily create your app, so that when you will be logging using any ID or anything, you will be able to see in the login connector here that which application you have tried to log in from which place. Okay, So after that you'll have to provide the REST endpoint service/data and API version, which API version you are using to connect. So going with this, so considering another thing, you don't have to include WSC and enterprise jar for that. This is removed and this one is also removed. So only Apache client and JSON for the functionality, everything. So going with next, here we are going to use another parameters. So here I'll be using string.base URI and one header class, which is Apache HTTP header class. Now I need to modify this header class. So I am importing one class here, and this is the syntax you need to use for header modification of this. So going with next, I'm going to include HTTP client class and going to create one object HTTP client, which will create and which will call build method here. So next we are going to declare one string login URL, the string which will be used to execute the post HTTP, which will help to log into Salesforce. So login URL plus grant service plus client ID is equal to this client ID, this one, and client secret is equal to client secret, username is equal to username, password is equal to password. So this is how we can build the login URL request URL, which will be used here. So going with next, we are going to call the HTTP post class. So it will send the request, so HTTP post and this login URL, this one, and then we need to capture the response of this post into a particular type of class, HTTP response. So I'm defining the object here first, and then HTTP post dot execute. Sorry, it would be HTTP client. The post should be sent via HTTP client dot execute this HTTP post. So add try. So I am adding try, so it will follow the protocols and IO exception for that as well. So I am sending this login URL request which is now in type of HTTP post. So post request via HTTP client, so it will send the request and I will be capturing this request into the response. So for further I will be using this response for verification of the login request which I have sent. So next onward I am going to create one status code, and I am checking the response code here by calling this method get status line and get status code. So this will hold the status code for this response. So I am going to check if this status code is not equal to HTTP client dot, sorry, it would be HTTP status dot sc underscore OK. Then authentication error. So authentication error, and the would be the, and the status code would be this. What would be the status code we can see, so we can easily find out what is the problem. So now going forward, we are going to check if login is correct or not, and here return. So now I'll check if one string here result. I'll check what is the, if login is successful, then what will happen. The result is equal to entity string, okay, entity utils dot to string. Here the response dot get entity. So it will provide the details, add try catch here, so that we can have a clear understanding what is the result we have. So here is the result. Now the main purpose of this method writing sending client request is to obtain the login access token and instance URL. So I am declaring one JSON object here which will capture these two values from the response, this result. So next I'm going to, so here the JSON object, this JSON object is equal to JSON tokener get result, this result and next value. So it will get this response in a JSON object format. So now onwards we can easily capture the response. So in this way login access token is equal to this JSON object dot get string, this access token, and same for the login instance URL, it should instance URL, so that we can easily understand what is going on. So let's print out these two, login access token and another is, sorry, it should be instance URL. So let's check if so working correctly or not, and what we get within this login access token and instance URL. So I'm going to run this. So this is the instance URL and login access token we have obtained. So we can easily see that login has been successful here. So going with next onward, you will not get any errors. That was for different project, different Java class. This one I have removed the referencing, so I'm going to delete this one for any issue I do not fetch further. So if I run this, I can easily see here this. So login has been successful. Now I am going to use this login access token and login instance URL next onward. So how we are going to use those? So before we proceed, we can see that login has been successful. So I'm going to write as login successful, and from next I will define base URI, which I have declared here, base URI. So here login instance URL, this one is instance URL ap1.salesforce.com, and the REST endpoint is this service /data, and this is API version. So how this base URI would be printed. If we take a look, we can easily understand. So login successful and base URI is like this. So using this we are going to insert the attachment. Let's see if we can or not. So going with next, we are going to use this login access token to assign into the authentication header, which is type is kind of map. So let's check how does this authentication header looks like. So if we run this application, we are able to see this authentication header looks like here: authorization, authentication, and this login access token, this one. So authorization, within authorization, this map, it's authentication and login access token. So using this authentication header, we are going to make the request to Salesforce. Now I am going to create one method here, public static create, not create, upload attachment. Okay, so this is one method here. Okay, sorry, it should be public static void. So I have created this method. Now I am going to read the file first in the buffer reader. So here, file and the file location and input stream. In the input stream, I have declared this buffer, and this is the buffer for this input stream. Read has been and stored into this buffer. So now what I have to do, I'm going to create one URI string. So this is base URI, and this is the URI syntax. So /s object /attachment. So after that, I'm going to declare one JSON object as attachment. So in JSON object as the attachment, I'll set some parameters as put your name as this. So it's kind of mapping, you can see. So I'm creating the JSON object, profiling this JSON object in a proper format, so that we can set different fields variable here, and we can send the request to the Salesforce, and we can easily create the attachment. So going with this, here is private field value should be false, and put parent ID is equal to this. Now I need to put the body, so it only accepts the string format. So how I will be able to put the string format here as the body, so as this is in byte. So what I'll have to do, I'll have to create one string here as the body of the attachment, and I need to convert this byte into base 64 formatting. So only attachment can be uploaded using base 64 format as well. So here base 64 dot encode base string and this. So it has been easily converted to base 64 string format. So I just put here this. So JSON object has been prepared. Now I need to send the request to the Salesforce to create as the attachment. So So if you want to take a look into this, how this JSON object will look like, I am calling this method into the main, and let's check how does it work. So run as Java application, and we can see this JSON looks like this. So this is the base64 formatted converted string. So I have created workbench, and I am putting body as this and name as codemania.txt, and parent ID is this. Let's check if we can insert one record in this way, which will have the content like this, content like same as the content I'm trying to upload. So here content has been, if we click on view, we can see this is the content. So that's how we are going to insert the attachment, but by sending the request. So I'm going to send the request in this way. So here again we are going to create one HTTP client and one HTTP post to make the request this way using the URI. So URI like this you have seen. So how does this URI will be looking like? URI. So let's see. So I am going to execute this post. Before that we need to add some parameters, add header, add more parameters. So here, so these two headers, authentication header and PT print header. So what I am going to do, I am going to dot add header this and another this print PT header. So next body will be created to string entity like it's Apache client entity. So one string entity type body of the request would be like set entity and attachment to string. So whatever JSON object has been, I'll send it as to string, and body of the request has been created, and I'm going to set the quantity of the body as application/JSON. So it will be working fine as the request. So now another is set entity as body request. So it will send the entity as the body request, and based on this request the attachment will be created. So again we are going to create the HTTP response of request would be like HTTP client this one and HTTP post this one. So this is how we are executing the request to Salesforce, where this authentication header and PT header and this URI which will execute this has been added. So again we are going to catch the response here. So how this response will be obtained. So next we will check if the response is correct or not. So here if status code is equal to 201, then we'll say the attachment has been successfully inserted. So before that we need to create one JSON object here. This same we need to obtain the ID. So I'm going to paste here and to do some modification. JSON object of the attachment, and this is would be the ID, and this is nothing I required now. and this is JSON object and get the result. So get result would be the response request. I'm sorry, before that we need to convert this response of the request to string. So response string, this should be response string. So we can have now this JSON of the attachment, this one, and this is the ID, and I don't need this, so it should be the ID. So I am going to paste this attachment ID here. You can see what we get. Okay, now I'm going to run this application and let's check if it is working correctly or not. So it's running, still running. Let's see what happens. Still sending the request. Okay, we can see that new attachment ID responds this. So we check if this attachment has been added or not. So here we can see that attachment has been added and it is perfect. So this is how we can insert the we can upload attachment or any data we want for any object or anything to Salesforce using this JSON request. We can obtain the status, everything. So you can build number of application by creating this Java program. You can build data loader, you can modify, you can do anything if you want using this JSON request. You can query the request, you can show, you can create the report builder, anything if you want. So keep visiting our website. Please subscribe this channel if you like, and share with your friends, colleagues, so that we can get our response. We get our motivation to create more videos. Thank you. So all the codes, everything will be available into the description of this video. You can easily access. If you face any issue, get back to us into our Facebook page with messaging, anything. We are always available for you. Thank you.